TMZ is also reporting Diddy was placed on suicide watch at the detention center that he's being held at in New York. But his lawyer is saying he's not suicidal. This is just routine for high-profile inmates.
Not only is P. Diddy behind bars, but now he's on suicide watch in one of the most dangerous jails in the country.
Oh, this is about to get wild. So we all know Diddy has been caught up in a mess of legal drama lately, but things are taking a real dark turn. Word on the street is, Diddy has been making some alarming threats, threatening to take his own life if he doesn't get bail. Now, we've seen some crazy things happen in Hollywood, but this one, it's chilling. And the plot thickens because while he's allegedly struggling with the pressure of everything going down, sources say Diddy is still confident he's gonna walk free. But does he really believe he can get out of this? Or is he playing some kind of mind game here? I mean, we know this isn't the first time he's been in hot water, but the stakes are higher now. The lawsuits, the arrests, the pressure, it's all piling up, and Diddy's making it clear he's not going down without a fight. So let's talk about Diddy. Yeah, you know him as the mogul, the hip-hop icon who built Bad Boy Records and put out hits with everyone from Biggie to J-Lo. He's had the game on lock for decades, right? He's been a symbol of success in the entertainment industry, but right now, all of that is getting overshadowed by some wild allegations that have come out against him over the years, and it's hard to even keep track of how deep this goes. Now let's rewind a bit to when things really started shifting. It all kicked off when Cassie, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, dropped a bombshell lawsuit against him. They were together for years, but the public really didn't know what went on behind closed doors. Cassie's lawsuit was a serious wake-up call for everyone. She didn't just accuse him of cheating or being a bad boyfriend. Nah, she went for the jugular, accusing Diddy of abuse, manipulation, and even things like harassment and assault. I mean, the details in that lawsuit were enough to make people start questioning everything they thought they knew about Diddy. And here's the kicker. When Cassie came forward, it didn't just stop there. It opened the door for a whole lot of people to speak up. You have all these other individuals from the music industry and people who worked closely with him now coming forward with their own stories. One person speaks up and the floodgates open. One of the big names that came up in the mix was Lil Rod, a former associate of Diddy. He filed his own lawsuit against Diddy, and man, this guy didn't hold back. He claimed that Diddy had been involved in some shady stuff, including threats, intimidation, and, yeah, you guessed it, allegations of abuse. Lil Rod says that he was a victim of Diddy's controlling tactics and even accuses him of some serious criminal activity. Now, you gotta remember, this is someone who had been in Diddy's inner circle, so when he's spilling the beans, it's gotta raise a few eyebrows. The thing is, when people start coming out and naming names, it puts even more pressure on Diddy. And with all the attention Cassie's lawsuit got, plus Lil Rod and others making accusations, Diddy's reputation took a major hit. Now, he's fighting back in court, trying to shake off all these allegations, but it's only getting more complicated for him. It's like every time one door closes, another lawsuit or accusation pops up. And let's be real, the longer this all drags out, the more it looks like Diddy might not be able to dodge these bullets forever. So here we are with Diddy stuck in MDC trying to fight these legal battles while people are watching to see if he'll get out on bail or if the pressure's gonna break him. And let's not forget, with all these lawsuits piling up and the stuff Cassie and Lil Rod are talking about, Diddy's got a whole lot to answer for. Allegations of SA, emotional abuse, S-trafficking, and even racketeering started piling up. The more people spoke, the worse it seemed for Diddy. It wasn't just a few bad stories, it started to look like a pattern. And let's be real, it was hard to ignore. But it wasn't just the allegations that were making headlines. Diddy was getting hit with multiple lawsuits, and as the pressure mounted, things started getting real messy for him. He was no longer just the rich, untouchable mogul with the fancy parties and the private jets. Nah, he was in the middle of legal battles that could totally dismantle his empire. Let's talk about this for a second. Diddy's been arrested. It wasn't some minor issue either. The guy who's got a whole empire built around him, the guy who's known for being connected to everyone in the game, got dragged into a legal nightmare. And guess where they put him? MDC, which is basically a high-security federal jail in New York. This is a place for people who are seen as dangerous or influential, and Diddy didn't exactly fit the usual inmate profile. But hold up, this is where it gets even crazier. They put him on suicide watch. Why? Well, people started speculating that Diddy might have been headed for a Jeffrey Epstein moment. For those who don't know, Epstein was that financier who was caught up in a massive scandal involving underage girls, and he was found dead in his cell under questionable circumstances. The official story was suicide, but you can guess that a lot of people believe there was more to the story than that. So when Diddy ended up on suicide watch, people started making comparisons, thinking this was a setup for something similar to what happened with Epstein. Everyone was like, is this going to be the same situation? Now imagine the chaos surrounding all of this. You've got someone like Diddy, who has been in the spotlight for decades, now dealing with some seriously dark allegations. There's also the fact that Diddy has always had this larger-than-life persona. He's a mogul, a boss, a cultural icon. To see him in jail, with the world questioning his every move, is almost surreal. This is a man who built his brand on success, power, and influence, but now he's just another person stuck in a legal battle that could potentially ruin his life. So now that we've talked about the wild start to this whole situation, let's dive deeper into just how far this thing is going. The fact that Diddy is in the midst of such a storm isn't just about the personal scandals, it's about the larger implications for the music industry, his reputation, and even the culture he helped build. Remember, this isn't just happening out of nowhere. Diddy's been involved in some shady stuff for a long time, but it's only recently that things have really started to catch up with him. This isn't a new problem. These allegations and rumors have been floating around for years. The difference now is that people are starting to take them seriously. We're talking about accusations from multiple people who claim that Diddy has used his power in some pretty disgusting ways. And yeah, while there's a lot of speculation, you can't ignore how many people are coming forward with stories that all sound disturbingly similar, and that's what's crazy about this whole thing. The allegations span so many years and cover so many different areas of his life. Whether it's abuse, harassment, or trafficking, it feels like Diddy's entire career has been built on a foundation that's now starting to crumble. All the good things he's done, launching artists, creating a billion-dollar empire, making history in hip-hop, it doesn't seem to matter right now. What people are focused on are the things that have been hiding in the shadows for all this time. Diddy's camp, of course, has been fighting back, saying that a lot of the accusations are false or exaggerated. But when you have so many different people from different backgrounds and professions all telling similar stories, it starts to raise a lot of questions. The legal battles are just the beginning of what could be a much longer and messier process. And even with all of this going on, there are still people who defend him. Especially in the hip-hop world. You have folks who'll always see Diddy as the guy who changed the game, the guy who brought the culture to new heights. But when you take a step back and really look at the evidence that's come out, it's hard to ignore the fact that there's something deeply wrong here. Let's talk about the future of Bad Boy Records too. Diddy's label was once the epitome of cool, an empire that introduced the world to Biggie, Mace, and a whole roster of hip-hop talent. But now, Bad Boy doesn't look as invincible. Sure, Diddy's legacy in hip-hop can't be erased, but his personal reputation is taking a major hit. People are questioning whether Bad Boy can survive this kind of scandal. Will the artists who are still with him stick around, or will they start distancing themselves from the label and from him as a person? There's also the larger issue of how this fits into the entertainment industry at large. We're talking about power dynamics and how people at the top often get away with things because they have money, influence, and connections. Diddy's been seen as untouchable for a long time, but now people are starting to realize that no one is too big to fall. This whole scandal is forcing us to think about how much power the rich and famous really have when it comes to covering up bad behavior. I mean, we've seen others get entangled in the mess too. Jay-Z was also added to one of the Diddy lawsuits too, and as Tony Busby said a few months back, others will be named too. So what happens next? Well, right now, Diddy's still in the fight of his life. The lawsuits aren't going away anytime soon, and the legal battles are only getting more intense. There's talk of more people coming forward with their stories, and who knows what new information will drop in the coming months. The future of Diddy's empire is uncertain, and it's hard to say how this will all play out. But here's the thing, Diddy's story is far from over. Whether he manages to clear his name or gets dragged down further by the weight of these accusations, this will be something that's talked about for years to come. For now, all we can do is watch and see how it all unfolds, because this is just the beginning of a much bigger conversation about power, abuse, and accountability in the entertainment world.